My homeschooling journey started out the same way I think a lot of people's does. I got into homeschooling and I started trying to check off boxes. I got involved with a charter. I became fixated on my kids' testing and the results and are they able to get this information in their head, right? This is how I was with it. I was fixated on their education. But after 20 plus years, 4 kids, all amazing, I can tell you that pretty much everything that I started with was all wrong. And if I had to do it all over again, wow, it would look extremely different. Because what nobody told me was that I'm not building a student, I'm building a human being. And once I started to finally get that, it changed everything for me. It changed everything I saw when it came to my role as a parent, as a homeschooling father. It changed everything. My oldest is 25. She owns her own marketing agency. My 22 and 20-year-olds are teamed up together and they're bringing new technology and new ways of doing live theater together. And my 14-year-old is the captain of his robotics team. And none of them asked for permission. None of them doubted their ability to go out there and take their shot and do their thing. None of that came from a curriculum. And none of that came from the way I was when I first started homeschooling. Who I was as a father, as a parent, as a role model. It came from the lessons that I've learned after all these years of homeschooling. So stick around and check this out because I think what I'm about to tell you can make a huge impact on your family, on your children, and even on your life. So the first mistake that I made as a homeschooling parent, it's the biggest one I think. And there's a lot of reasons why I did it, but it's also the mistake that I see so many other homeschooling parents doing. And it was bringing school at home. Like homeschool, right? Or for you, homeschool. And so you see this word, these two different words contracted, and you think, okay, I'm supposed to just school at home, and that's what homeschool means, but it's not. It's not what it means. But we bring in the same rigid schedule. We bring in the textbooks. We bring in the grading, the testing, the monitoring, the judgment of our kids' performance, right? It's like, I'm judging you, man. How'd you do? And I get it. It feels safe. It feels tried and true. It feels like when all else fails, what am I going to do? Go chart a new course? I should do what everyone else is doing. I understand that. I understand that line of thinking. Let me tell you a little concept called the locus of control. It's the difference between a child who believes that they can direct their own life and a child who thinks that their life is all about just appeasing and appealing to other people and just squashing themselves to fit in, to hit certain standards, and to get a good score. Lots of research shows that kids who lose that internal sense of control, they tend to have a lot of anxiety, depression, and things like that. And more kids are losing this internal locus of control. They're losing this sense that they own themselves, that they can be self-directed, that they can go out there and they can make something of themselves. Nothing will take that away faster than having an adult in your life that will check every box and guide you and instruct you every single freaking step of the day, like going to a classroom or having a parent at home who brings the classroom to the home. The school system was built to produce compliant workers, not thinkers, not problem solvers, not people who go out and believe in their ability to go out and make a change and a difference in the world. No, it's built to create people who sit in a classroom, sit straight, shut up, and just do what they're told over and over and over and over again without really challenging the status quo. And you pulled your kid out of that system for a reason, only to just bring the system into your home. I'm going to tell you something that I know is really hard to do. It was really hard for me to do it when I started doing it. But I think it makes a huge difference in your child's life, and that's to give your kids freedom. A mentor of mine handed me a book called Leadership Education by Oliver DeMille, and they were telling me that I was suffocating my kids, and I needed to read this book really bad, and so I did, and it was hard because I hated reading. I'm glad I did because I can trace back every change in my life to that moment when I read that book. And that book's all about teaching that you can't really make demands of your kids and require all this stuff and do all that and think that you're really getting them an education. Actually, what you need to do is you need to inspire your kids. But it all felt like chaos to me. It felt like, dude, if I don't sit there and monitor and demand and do all that, they might just drift off and do nothing with their lives. It was scary. but I did it anyway. I did it because I knew what it was like when I was in school, and I hated having all that stuff done to me. And I had to just have faith and believe that what I knew was wrong to have happened to me, I couldn't be doing that to them. I had to make the change. And as scary as it was, because everything that I had modeled from me was the control and all that stuff, I had to have faith, I had to believe, and I had to make the change. And there's actually a reason for this. I didn't really understand it at the time, but there's something called self-determination theory. And it says that humans have three core needs. They need autonomy, competence, and relatedness. And a lot of times, homeschooling, when we copy government schools, we destroy all of those. Kids need autonomy really bad. They need freedom. They need self-ownership. We need to stop taking that away from them. And it's weird because when you step back in that role and you allow it to happen, you can give a different kind of relatedness. One that says, I see you. I see you for who you actually are. And it's beautiful. When you play bass guitar, I see you come alive. In a way I didn't see you come alive when I was forcing you to sit in front of that textbook and just slam facts into your brain. And we can relate and we can connect. And I got to coach and I got to be there. It was really amazing. And let's not confuse freedom with an absence of structure. It's not an absence of structure. It's not an absence of a parent. It's not an absence of direction of any kind. It's just that there has to be a healthy amount of freedom. And let's say this, kids don't need a better curriculum. A lot of times parents are fixated on, oh, let me try this curriculum. Let me try that curriculum. What do you think about this curriculum? What do you think about that curriculum? They do all that kind of stuff. But you know what? Actually, what they really need is a better environment. They need a better environment. And what does that mean? What does that look like? I'm going to tell you something that I didn't know for so long. It's actually really embarrassing to tell you this, but I didn't realize that your personality is not permanent. It's not fixed. That your personality can change and you can develop it. And a lot of the things that you think are just who you are, you can actually change and do that. And you do it through your environment. It's the people that you hang out with. It's the things that you surround yourself with. It's the habits, the routines, and all of that kind of stuff. And then the things that you don't have in your life that actually pull you in the wrong direction. You remove those things. And you, as you do all of this and you create the right environment, it will do amazing things on who you are and what you become. And the same is true for your kids. And I know this personally. I know this intimately. I've had this happen in my life to such a degree that I cannot overstate its effects. It's powerful. And I don't think homeschoolers understand the power of it enough. The environment matters so much. And when you're homeschooling, this is what you need to know. You are the primary environment. You literally create the environment they live in, right? And you are the curriculum. You are. They study you. They learn from you. Does mommy and daddy, do they like to read books? Why do they tell me I have to read books? You are their curriculum. You craft their environment. And when you keep growing, you become a runway for them that they can take off and soar. The most powerful lessons happen when your kids see you picking up something and struggling with it, making a change in your life, making a change in your behavior patterns, taking ownership for something you did wrong, all of that kind of stuff. When you start to pick up these skills and you start to apply them to your life, that is the most magical type of lesson you could possibly give your kids. So what am I saying? I'm saying stop sacrificing your personal growth for your kids' education. You have it backwards. You have it wrong on a level that I cannot even explain to you. Build yourself up. Take care of yourself. It's like putting on the mask on the airplane before you put it on anyone else's. It's similar to that. Another thing is that confidence is built. It's not born. I spent the first part of so much of my life just not feeling confident and just thinking I was kind of born that way. And I didn't want my kids to be that way, right? It was super important to me that they grew up to be healthy and confident individuals. Confidence is something that you earn. It's something that has to be practiced. It's something that is created through our actions and the decisions that we make to move ourselves forward. It's the commitments that we make to ourselves that we keep rather than the commitments that we make to ourselves that we don't keep. Therefore, we lie to ourselves and we don't believe in ourselves anymore. It's the aptitude that we build. It's the skills that we acquire. It's all of these things, all of them required forward motion. And every time that we try something hard and even fail, but we survive it, we realize I can survive failure. Okay, cool. And every time we get back up on that pony and we try again and we try again and we try again and we finally figure out how to ride the pony, we build confidence because now we've seen what it looks like to fail, to not die from the failure, to try again and to keep trying until you finally achieve the thing. And there's confidence in that because you know when you learn that you can do anything in life, anything. So don't protect your kids from difficulty. Cheer them on for the difficulty. Cheer them on for the effort. It's beautiful. Another thing I had to figure out was that your kids will learn when they're ready. And this is one of the great mistakes of government schools is that kids are expected to learn when the higher ups decided that they should learn it by. But when you're not ready, man, all it does is it tells you you're a stupid loser and you just, you know, all the other kids are smart and they have these natural innate abilities and you're just a dumb loser and you're just destined for loserville. And unfortunately, we bring that into our homeschools a lot of times when we hyper stress over standards and this and that, testing and all that stuff. Your kids will learn when they're ready. And kids are brought into this world with this natural ability to be curious and they're learners. They want to get up and they want to start walking, right? There's a lot of falling that happens there. They can bang their lip and all that, but they freaking get back up and they start walking again. They see mommy walking. They see daddy walking. They want to walk. It's what we do. We learn. We try. We fall. We get back up. Don't stand there. Don't let them fall. Let them fall. Let them fall. Let them see that they can get back up. I'll tell you a funny little story that trips people out when I tell them this, but my two sons, because I finally had kind of like learned a lot of stuff about how I wanted to homeschool by this time. So I stopped forcing my kids to learn how to read when my boys came around, and my boys learned how to read on their own. My older of the two boys was actually like 4 or 5 when he started to learn how to read. That's when he was ready to learn how to read. He just started to learn how to read. And we kind of tripped out on that. And then because of him, 7 years later, when my youngest came along, and we were like, well, we're definitely not going to like push reading on him at all. Our other one learned how to read on his own. There's lots of data on that kids can learn how to read on their own. We don't need to push this, so let's do it. But he was like, he was 7, he wasn't reading. 8, he wasn't reading. He was like, oh my gosh, we're starting to stress out. Holy crap. 9, he's not reading. 10, he started reading. All right, chill. It's all good. That's when he was ready. Kids do learn when they're ready. It's amazing. And it's just, it comes down to the environment and the influences and the way that you portray things and show things and model things and do all that kind of stuff combined with their ability and their development at that time. So don't stress over that stuff. When you bring that stress in, that's going to make them think there's something wrong with them. And then that's going to make their brain go haywire. So just enjoy the time with your kids and keep modeling the right things. 20 years, 4 kids, thousands of hours reading, thousands of dollars spent on coaching and things like that, trying to figure out my own dumb butt. Lots of failing, lots of adjustments, lots of regrets. But if I had to boil it all down into one tiny little sentence, I would say stop filling your kids with information and start building humans who can just figure it out. If you're a homeschooling dad trying to figure this thing out, you feel alone, you don't have a good model, you don't know what you're doing, you feel overwhelmed. Even if your wife is the one doing the homeschooling and yet you still feel like, gosh, I don't know if I can trust all this stuff. I don't know what are we doing? Is this really going to work? Or you don't know how to encourage your wife. Click subscribe. It's coming down the pipeline. All the stuff is coming down the pipeline. And I want you to come along for the journey. And I think we're building something really special here, and I want you to be a part of it. So thank you so much for making it to the end of the video. You're the best. Keep going. You got this. Have a wonderful day.